Hello and welcome. I am Lucila Williams, the founder of The Intentional Advisor and the author of the Intentional Insider blog. So today I am coming to you to tell a little story from the book Blink from Malcolm Gladwell. So I received the Blink as a present from actually our relationship manager here in the office. She saw the book in the bookstore and thought I would enjoy it. Alas, I do. And of course, there is a story there that is relevant to us. At least I think it is. Blink is all about making split-second decisions and how these split-second decisions can oftentimes be very founded in reality, even though we don't necessarily understand how that they are. But one thing he talks about, it's just a small story in there, about the research around which surgeons, which doctors get sued the most. So you would think that the doctors that get sued the most would be the ones that make the most mistakes, or the ones that do the most surgeries, so therefore they make the most mistakes, just by the nature of how many surgeries they're doing. It is not accurate. The doctors that get sued the most are the most condescending, the people that the patients don't actually like. Now think about that for a second. They will forgive a doctor that makes a mistake and harms them if they liked him in the first place, okay? So the research said that the doctors who got sued spent 3 minutes on average less with their clients. So they spent less time. During that time, they were more demeaning in their tone with their patients, and they listened less and directed more. So in other words, they were telling them what to do and not listening to what the patient needed or was concerned about, etc. So how does this apply to our industry? I think for us, it's not so much about getting sued, right? Like if we just make a mistake, it's more about client complaints probably. And in our industry, I think that we all understand that a reputation can be ruined in a moment, and it's potentially going to end up on your U4 and there for years on end. So how does this apply to us, and you know, what can we do about it? So I have noticed 3 distinct personas. So the way that advisors show up in 3 different ways, and I think it'll make sense here in a moment. The first is the salesman. So the salesman is the guy or gal who has the slick presentation. They're not really listening to you. They're customizing. They're not customizing anything. It's all about them, what they want to sell, their agenda. They know what you should buy before they even meet you, kind of thing. They have all the objections scripted out and know exactly the right answers to all the potential reasons you might say no. They love you and they're your best friend until you either say no or purchase, and then they're gone, okay? The salesman doesn't really care, okay? The second persona is the professor. And I think the professor, at least in my world, I feel like the professor is newer on the scene. It comes from kind of wanting to be above the fray. The professor has no dog in the fight. He or she is going to give you the answer, be objective, give you 3 different research-based options. You choose what you want. Whatever you do is not my problem, right? These people are likely to give the giant 100-page financial plan and give you all of the things you ought to do and then say good luck, okay? They are not really in it with the client at the end of the day. The third persona that I see is the advocate, right? And I think this is what we all aspire to, at least I would hope we do. So the advocate really understands the fears, the goals, the challenges that clients face. They are really listening and customizing solutions to their clients. They really care whether or not the client follows through and does the things that they've recommended. They are really in it with them. They really want to see the client accomplish the goals that they set out to achieve. Now, of these 3, the salesman, the professor, and the advocate, who do you think is going to get sued? It's probably the salesman, maybe the professor, and probably not the advocate, at least based on what Malcolm Gladwell said in his book, Blank, right? So obviously we don't know who's going to get sued, and if we do something egregious, you never know. But I really think there's something in this. The way we show up will affect the way that people perceive our actions. If we make an unintentional mistake, but the client knows we care a lot, I think there's a less likelihood of getting sued or having a significant client complaint that becomes a problem. So I would ask you who you are. Now, I will tell you, in all honesty, I was trained as a salesman. My broker-dealer taught me all the objections, and I had, you know, scripts and presentations and the ways of getting people to do the things that I wanted them to do before they even walked in. I didn't even know them, and I knew what I wanted them to do. That's how I was trained. So in order for me to hopefully become an advocate, I had to reprogram myself. I had to step away from those scripts. I had to step away from that training on getting people to do what I wanted them to do and really kind of become that person as an advocate for my clients. Now, like I said, I think the professor persona is newer. This is the CFPs coming out of school, and they really don't want to get their hands dirty. They're above the fray. I think that because people have not wanted to be salesmen, they've potentially become professors, and I don't know that that's a good thing. I think that being above it does not help your clients accomplish their goals. So I would encourage you to have some self-awareness and really think about where you are on the spectrum. Which persona do you show up as most, and how can you improve? What do you need to do to become more of an advocate, less of a salesman, and hopefully less of a professor? So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Intentional Insider. And if you did, please share it. Share it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, email it to a friend. You know, hopefully the more the merrier in the Intentional Advisor community. And if you want to kind of hash this out and talk about it, join us in the Intentional Advisor Mastermind group. That is a group on Facebook, completely free. It's an advisor-only environment, so you can come and share your ideas. You can challenge me if you don't agree with me. You can kind of talk about or problem solve the things that you're struggling with as well. So I would challenge you to find a way to add a little bit more purpose to your life and business this week. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.